Happy summer, everybody. I can't believe it's already July. That is crazy. So Jamie and I recorded this episode about 2 weeks ago, and it was right before the summer solstice. So we talk a little bit about that in it. So we definitely know it's July now, but we talk about that. And that's exactly what this episode is all about. It's all about summer. You know, we've been in quarantine for many months now, and as hard as that was, now we have a summer that looks quite different from all other summers, right? There's no summer camps, there's no summer school, there's really nothing to do. And so it can pose a real challenge to our parent listeners and our teacher listeners. Maybe you might be panicking about the next year, or maybe you have parents asking you what to do. So we came up with some ideas, and we also just talk about, the beauty of having a summer and being able to be bored and not know what to do, and how that can really encourage learning. So I think you guys will love it. As always, if you have any summer activities or anything, definitely tell us on Instagram. We always are looking for new ideas and things. So please send us anything at All Things Montessori. And if you haven't checked out our website yet, please do. There's a subscribe button on there, so you can get emails from us and all of those sorts of things. We're so happy it's there, and we have some exciting things coming your way. So anyways, without further ado, I'm so pumped about this episode, and I hope you guys find it really, really informative and gets you excited for summer. Enjoy. Hey, Jamie, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, I'm good. No complaints. How are you doing?
We're approaching the official start of summer tomorrow.
I think it's the 21st.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't that also mean it's the longest day of the year? Right? Or no?
In the northern hemisphere.
I always do that. I need to have a more global view. You always remind me that the whole world doesn't live in the northern hemisphere. God.
So for those people listening in Australia, they're headed toward the
shortest day.
How
cool is that, though? That, we're all on the same planet and we're having a legitimate opposite experience. How cool is that?
Yeah.
It's so neat.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
So here in the US, we've got summer approaching. So everyone that's been home for the last 3 months from school is now home for 3 more months.
Yep.
Or so, with no school, and most places, or a lot of places, aren't, even having summer camps or anything like that yet.
Yeah. I mean, I know homeschooling and being at home with your child was tough during the school year, but, now we're entering a whole new domain where there's going to be a lot of free time and not a lot of places to go because there's still so many restrictions, because even though we've been in the pandemic for a while now, it is still very real. It's very real. It's still here. So we thought we'd talk today about some ideas of how to not only entertain your child over the summer, but perhaps keep them curious and energetic and, engaged, I guess.
Yeah, it's a whole different kind of summer, and even here, like in DC, usually a great thing to do in the summer is especially to cool off, is to go to museums or other things like that. And, none of that has reopened yet here.
Right.
So, so it's going to be a different kind of summer as you think about having kids at home all the time. But I think there's plenty of potential to keep sort of excitement and learning going, even while giving kids plenty of downtime. And that's the like the big thing that I would really encourage parents to do in the summer is a lot of sort of free, unstructured time for children where they have to kind of figure
Yeah.
out what to do with themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of children today, they don't have the opportunity to be bored or to let their mind, kind of wander. I think there's so much constant entertainment and everything is sort of at the touch of your fingers, so to speak, in a lot of places. I mean, it's just the world is so busy and so loud, right? So I think you're right. Letting your child just take a break and maybe just do nothing for a day. Because I think when we do nothing like that, when we take a step back, even as an adult, that's when I kind of will do some of my best thinking, when I have that time to let my brain relax. So,
yep. And they do need that time for, to be able to like process or be creative. And so I think as we have kids at home all the time, like thinking about, where they are in their development, so what age they are, and, making sure they've got plenty of unstructured time and some stuff around the house that's going to support them in that stage of development. Have art supplies out and available that are appropriate for their age. Have, lots of books, some building kind of toys and things like that. But also remember where they are. My daughters are right now babysitting for neighbors who are still like working from home, but needs some breaks from their 3-year-olds. And so, they've been going on hour-long walks, with these little ones, just looking at, like looking at the neighborhood, looking at the leaves.
That's amazing.
Like those are the kinds of things when you've got especially younger ones that are really worthwhile and developmentally appropriate. And in the elementary, you can do like long walks that actually cover some serious distance. I don't think these long walks with
right,
but you can. They're sturdy. So that's something to be keeping in mind in the summer. Even just going for walks in the neighborhood can be really, really good for children.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think any sort of being outside is so worthwhile. Just listening to the birds or, just watching maybe a squirrel, run up a tree or something. I mean, I have so many squirrels in my backyard. I constantly see them all fighting and running around. But to an elementary child, I mean, that could spawn, some sort of interest in learning more about why squirrels do that. Why are some squirrels, different, they have different furs or anything like that. I mean, I think getting out of the house safely, safely go on walks and keeping distance, that can be a really great place for their interest to grow. And also it's great to get their bodies moving. They have a lot of energy that they need to get out, and they're not going to be able to go to those summer camps or soccer camp or you name it, where they're, expelling all that energy. Now they're going to have all that energy in the house. So,
yep. I think summer's a great time to have water activities available.
Oh yeah.
Out, that they can do outside, whether it's a sprinkler, little kiddie pool, or just like various, you can put together some science experiments, sort of like testing the different volumes of different things with water, using water to fill containers, and anything with water, and frisbees, and order a badminton set for the backyard if you've got one. Or
croquet, that's another one. Yeah, any kind of outside thing. I was just thinking another fun thing to do. I used to do this as a kid, and I've actually done it with I think my elementary class and children I used to nanny, but tie-dyeing is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty messy, but it's so fun. And it's, it's a great way to pass some time and make really cool designs. And it's really creative and fun. And it's outside, right? So anything like that. And all these experiences, whether you're there with them at the time or not, are going to, I think children are really going to remember the pandemic, and they're really going to remember the summer of the pandemic when their summer looked a little different. They were home for 3 months before summer break, and then they're still home.
Right.
I think this is going to be, they're going to remember this summer. And I think just getting outside as much as possible and having those experiences. And they can still, chat with their friends if you guys do a Zoom, or they can pick up the phone and call their friends, or they could write their friends a letter, anything like that, because elementary children are social. They're social beings.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of parents are being careful right now with play dates and things like that. And I think that's smart. But I think there's ways for your children to still, hang out with each other. I mean, you could get walkie-talkies and they could sit a distance from each other and do that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know, totally. I mean, and I think also it's okay for children to be bored. So if they say
Yes.
they're bored, which my children learned at a very young age not to say that to me, but if they do say they're bored, it's okay. I mean, that doesn't mean you as the adult in their lives have to do anything about that. You can acknowledge it.
Right.
You can say, well, what are you going to do about that then? Because it doesn't mean a child saying they're bored doesn't mean that an adult has to jump into entertainment mode. That's not required.
Right. Right.
Children can be bored and they can just live with that.
Yeah.
They can live with that feeling. And what often emerges from boredom, if we leave it long enough, is extraordinary creativity and innovation. And if we immediately leap in and try to resolve that feeling, children don't have to become creative and innovative. They just wait for the adult to do something next for them.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So
it takes away their train of thought, right? Like it's like we're filling their head with, oh, well, you need something to do here, just do this.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, sometimes it's fine too, but I think it's good. You're so right to just take a step back and be okay that they will figure it out. Maybe they'll come up with something, again, like you're saying, super creative that you would never have thought of.
Right. And really, it isn't our job as adults to, curate each child's daily life all the time and make sure it's never boring. In fact, they're building themselves. It's they need to be sort of focused on themselves. So if they say they're bored, you can help them think of things to do. You don't have to offer something to them, but you can help them think through, or you could just ignore them and let them work through it. Like, that's okay too.
Right.
You can you can just say, oh, wow, okay, you're bored. Thanks for telling me. And move about your day that probably isn't filled with boredom. And so that's the other thing that we can do for children is model what not being bored looks like. We can model what, choosing activities and fulfilling those activities looks like. And then they start to learn that way too. But as much as possible, when you can give children a lot of unstructured time and you're not there like guiding every second of it, that's when they're really going to develop a strong sort of sense of self and sense of, I know what to do and I know how to keep myself happy and entertained. So feel it's okay to not spend every moment of time with your children.
Yeah. And I think when they come up with that next idea, they have ownership over it. Like it's theirs because and that's such a powerful feeling. And I want parents to understand, just because you're not entertaining your child every minute or really making sure they're okay does not mean that you're not doing a great job. I think those two can get confusing sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, my child's bored. Like, what am I doing wrong? No, I mean, humans are meant to be bored. You know, we're meant to think and stay still sometimes.
Yep.
So it's a good thing to remind yourself of, and especially not to feel guilty about.
Yeah.
And the modeling. I remember when I had maybe just some lack of inspiration, we'll call it, in the classroom. I would just get out a big project and work, and the children would come over and ask me what I was doing, and I would sort of be like, I'm really busy right now. I can't talk to you because I'm really busy on my work. And it was sort of funny because I wasn't busy on making a timeline about who knows what. But modeling that, it kind of inspired them to be busy on something.
Yeah, totally. Well, and you can, in the day-to-day work of the home, all children can participate in some of that too. So like if you're washing the car, get a kid to help you. If you're cleaning or baking or cooking or gardening, all of those things children can participate with you and build some of those skills. I think that's really important. They can read every day. Hopefully they're going to be reading every day. And limiting screen time. I joked with my girls because when they were younger, we really limited their screen time. And I joked a few weeks ago about how I don't know how we would have managed. I mean, that I'm sure I would have been using a lot more television to occupy them if they were younger during this pandemic. Like, this is a hard time. I would have.
It's so hard. Oh my God. It's so hard.
But, summer is a time to sort of regain some balance with that and see if you can nudge them away from screens a little bit more. So it's a time to, especially now that school isn't taking place on a screen, pull back from some of that a little bit and see what other activities, things that they're using their hands, to build or bake or whatever. Work
of the hand is super important. I think, I don't know, whenever I do stuff with my hands, I immediately feel better because you're in the present when you're doing stuff with your hands, right? Because you're literally manipulating something with your hands. So I think that's really important. And I was going to touch on cooking, I think is a great area of exploration for the summer. A lot of people are doing the sourdough starter, things like that. I mean, banana bread, I know that was a big thing, but anything, I remember growing up, my mom would just give me a bowl of flour and I would practice measuring it in the measuring cups. And I have vivid memories of that. And I mean, I don't know. I think getting them in the kitchen, I mean, baking bread is not hard. It's like 3 or 4 ingredients. It might not be very good, but
right. I was going to say the ingredients aren't the hard part. It's the
It's
but no, it's true. I mean, one of my kids' favorite things to do when they were little, under the age of 6, was when I gave them like a bowl of flour and then some water, and they love the feel. The feel of the flour is so soft and sensorial, and
oh my gosh, it's amazing.
And then mixing it with water and seeing, of course, it made a huge mess. This was an outside activity, so I could just hose them down, but. Any sorts of things like that. Just have fun. And for elementary children, really keeping them sort of excited about learning. So they'll ask questions and you don't have to answer those questions. You can keep track of them. You can help the child look for answers. You can, anything that's going to keep curiosity and excitement about the world and about learning alive is also a key component, I think, for elementary children this summer. But I think I guess I would just emphasize, stay connected and in relationship, but also give them a lot of unstructured time to just sort of figure out what they're going to do to keep themselves busy. Or if you can, boot them outside to play for a while. And let them sort of figure things out to do. I just think that's going to be a key to keeping them helping build their creativity and their critical thinking if they've got a lot of time to do that this summer.
Yeah, and I mean it takes some of the pressure off you with feeling like you have to just, make their summer a summer because, all the camps, everything is just, everything is closed. But, stepping back, but also, some days it might not go that great, and that's also okay.
Mm-hmm.
This time has brought about so much hardship in so many different ways. So it's important to give yourself a break.
Right. Right.
Keep that in mind. And before we know it, the summer will be over because time is, it's just flying by, it seems like. But if you have any ideas or something that worked or a fun craft or anything, definitely share with us on Instagram or via email or something, because, I think everybody's always looking for inspiration. And I hope this summer is full of new ideas that come from boredom.
Yep. Sounds good.